Welcome back to the channel, Black is One, where the agenda is to edify and elevate the black race so that we can build and prosper. It is February. It is Black History Month, and I promised you a Black History Month series. So this is Promise Delivered. Welcome to video number 1, or lesson number 1, as the case may be. Now, I'm going to make a statement, and I want you to write it out on a piece of paper. Carry it in your wallet. Stick it on your mirror. Put it on your bumper sticker. Write it on the tablet of your heart, as the Bible would say. Make it a memory gem. Make it a jingle. Make it a song. Etch it in your memory. And the statement goes like this. Africans, black people, were the first people. That's according to UN General History on Africa. You see, 1964, UNESCO set out on a mission. They said they wanted to remedy the general ignorance about African history. So they called upon the utmost African and non-African expert, 230 historians and specialists, worked for 35 years under the supervision of the International Scientific Committee. And when they came back, that was one of the conclusions that they came to. That black people, African people, were the first people. Now I don't even remember a movie by the name of Lucy, starred by Morgan Freeman. Now that whole story is about a specimen, a piece of human remain that was discovered in 1974, and they called it Lucy. It was discovered by 2 American paleontologists in a place named Hadar in Ethiopia, Africa. At that time, it was classified as the most ancient known human ancestor. It was 3.2 million years old. Then in 2016, a team of paleontologists led by Johannes Haile Selassie from the Cleveland Museum of Natural History in Ohio discovered another ancient piece of human remain, and they call it the MRD cranium. It was discovered in Ethiopia as well, and as we know, Ethiopia is in Africa. This piece of specimen now was even older than Lucy. This was Lucy's ancestor. 3.8 million years old. You know? Based on their experiments and modeling and the things that they do in the lab, they were able to determine that Lucy and the person to whom the MRD cranium belonged to had certain characteristics. You know, that they were 3.5 feet tall, for example, had long arms, long legs, ape-like chest and jaw, small brain, but they walked upright and had a relatively human-like pelvis. You know. But let's say that you don't believe in this quote-unquote evolutionish type of thing, or you're just a skeptic. You're skeptical as to whether or not these were human beings or they were something else. Well, the oldest skull of a modern human being, with all the features and faculties like you and I, was also discovered in Africa, in Ethiopia, the Omoro River Valley. They call it the OMO1, in the 1960s. 233,000 years old. Still in Africa. Still an African. Well, I don't want to flood you with too much of the science. What I'm saying essentially is that all original, what they call aboriginal humans of every place on earth. The original people of Australia, the original people of America, the original people of Asia, and even Europe were black people. We gave birth to everybody else. You know, I was listening to a black Muslim virgin watching a video on YouTube, and he was talking to a white audience on the street, and he was saying to them that when you look at a black man, you're looking at your father. He said, right now, you standing right now in front of me, listening to me, you're listening to your father. And this is not some Pan-African fantasy or some Pan-African mythology I'm inventing to come to soothe you, or I come just to big up black people because I am black. I'm spitting facts. Now, Europeans have a difficulty digesting these facts. They have a difficulty coming to terms with the fact that the people that they have treated the way they did, the people of whom they said the things that they said, are their ancestors. We're here before them. That these people are the original people on the earth. You know? The Chinese also have a difficulty acknowledging that fact. The Chinese thought and were taught for years that they were the first people and that they came from a separate branch, you know, from all the other members of the human family. So they are the geneticists who set out to prove this theory once and for all, that Chinese people were the first people and that they did not come from anybody else. This man's name is Jin Lee. Now, this man was the vice president of Fudan University and a professor at the National Human Genome Center and Fudan's Institute of Genetics, located in Shanghai, China. He is the principal investigator of East Asian populations and for the Geographic Project, which collects DNA samples to map historical migration patterns around the world. There's a video on YouTube with his findings as well. He confirmed that the Chinese descended from Africans. Now, what he did is that he got a genetic marker from 80,000 years ago, wherein anyone who has that genetic marker must be the original man or the first man. So after he got that piece of DNA, he went to 160 ethnic groups in East Asia. We're talking about China, Japan, Mongolia, North and South Korea, and Taiwan, and collected a total of 12,000 samples that he was going to check against this one African DNA marker, 80,000 year old marker. Now, of his 12,000 East Asian samples, not even one, we'll say in Jamaica, not even one dege one, not even one single one had the genetic marker that would suggest that the Chinese or the Asians were the first people. He conceded in disappointment that Africans were in fact the first people, and that the Chinese, like everybody else, came from Africans. If you want to take it on a theological level, even in the Bible, Genesis 2, Adam and Eve were Africans. Eden was in Africa, based on the description of the place and the minerals and so on, the Euphrates River and things like that. For those who prefer to take it from the theological angle. But the point that I'm making is this. Regardless of what they tell you, regardless of the narratives that they try to feed to you, according to the science, according to the history, according to the facts, African people, black people, we are, or we were, the first people on the face of the earth. Now, what is the point of me telling you this? I want to convince the black man to be proud of himself and his heritage and his color. I told you, that in this Black History series I'm not going slavery and colonization. I'm going to use this series to lift up the pride and the dignity and the spirit of the black man. I'm going to tell the black man good things about himself. And I'm starting at number 1. That black man, black woman, black child, Africa, Africans, we are the first people on the face of the earth. And with that information, I hope to convince the black man to be proud of himself and his color. I wish to convince the black man that he's to walk confidently in the world, to walk with his head up, stand up straight with his shoulders back and his chest out, chin up, not pompous now, or in a condescending type of way, some sort of negative pride. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking to stand up straight with your chest out, because you're confident and you're dignified. Though they try to convince the world that we were 3/5 of a person, that we were savages, that we were subhumans, and as such deserving of the things they did to us. They tried to convince us that we were not human, so we could not feel pain, that we were inferior, and the list goes on. We are not inferior. We are the first people. God created us first. If God has an image and a likeness in which he created man, the black man, the first man, is God's splitting image and his exact likeness. Imagine that. Happy Black History Month. Tell somebody about this channel. Discuss the content with your friends and your neighbors. Leave me a comment in the comment section and subscribe to the channel if you support the movement. I'm trying to reach a modest target of just 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Turn on your notifications so you're notified when I upload the next video in this Black History Month series. And do your own reading. Don't just take my word for it. Big up yourself, black people. Black is one. Live the revolution.